Rahl Jewelers. Welcome, everyone, to a fresh edition of Mike North's press conference brought to you by our friends at Rahl Jewelers in Hoffman Estates. Throughout the show, you'll see the ticker banner at the bottom of the screen with their phone number, the hours of operation, and their website. You should visit them because it's holiday season and it's time to get that special gift for that special someone. I see that Mike North is about approaching the podium, and so let's bring him in. There he is. How are you, brother?
We won.
Still celebrating, huh?
First down.
Yeah, we needed that.
Good. We won. That's it. I know we have this and who's going to play here and what's going on over there, but we did win, folks. That's the first thing. Enjoy the win. But, there's questions and many questions and all sorts of questions and a million questions that have to be answered. But the first thing was we won, Eldo, and we'll take people's questions here on the bar room, brought to you by Rahl Jewelers, where you can see the sparkles from miles away.
Right.
The plane almost landed on Barrington Road because they thought it was by the tower because they thought it was landing lights. And it was just the sparkles coming to Rahl Jewelers. So here's the deal. We won. The debate is what's going to happen. I don't think much was solved in his first two games of the Ryan Poles quarterback will you come back derby. It was encouraging to see him embrace him in the locker room afterwards. The team is very happy. They are starting to win. The defenses look better. I went to bed at halftime, though. I just couldn't take it. I couldn't take it. I got up the next day. I leave the TV on pause because I don't want to shut it off and then screw it up, turn it on.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes I turn it on and I go, let's see how many bombs were dropped in Israel. And I go and I forget that I put the thing on pause and I missed the deal. So I watched it the next day and we were very fortunate. It's not, a bad thing. I've said if Justin Fields or any quarterback throws for 10 yards, I said this about the other quarterbacks and we win. I don't care. So we just did enough to win the game. I'm encouraged about the defense. Johnson should have about 2 or 3 more interceptions than he does. But he's right there. He knows how to jump on the ball. He's quick to the ball. I love Sanborn. I love the fact that they got some depth at linebacker to help the other guys. Edwards is tough. The offensive line, I'm not going to degrade the offensive line. I count how many seconds there is. Fields gets sacked after 3-4 seconds. The other quarterback we got, the ball's gone. It's gone. So, and in the first quarter, and I wish they'd show more behind Justin Fields. First quarter, they show him missing on a pass, and there's guys wide open, and he takes the sack. See? So, I know what Brian Baldinger, he seems very invested in Justin Fields. They called a great play for the end of the game. Guys wide open. DJ Moore. They played a zone for some reason.
Yeah.
Baldinger breaks it down. It was a 20-yard pass you see on TV every week. It wasn't like he threaded the needle, threw on the run, did this or did that. So there's propaganda on both sides. I don't know what the Bears are going to do. Right now, if you told me that next year you coach the Bears, you're going to make $500,000. Okay. But you got to either stick with Fields or go with somebody else. And if you have a winning season, okay, then you're going to be our coach for the next 10 years at $10 million a year. I don't know if he'd be my starting quarterback next year, if that was depending on that. But that being said, who's out there? Who's out there? Caleb Williams? I've seen enough of him in big game situations. He's a crybaby. Somebody said the other day, on Visson, they were quoting somebody else that he's got a chance to be a top 10 quarterback next year. There's no chance of that. The same people talking about Caleb Williams talked about Justin Fields. You get a different ball game in the pros. So that's all. And then all of them are transfers to the Pac-12. Did you know that, Aldo? All 3 quarterbacks are transfers?
No, I didn't know that.
They went to the Pac-12. Bo Nix played at Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
He plays at Oregon now. Pac-12, no defense. They don't play no D.
None. Yeah.
Caleb Williams, Oklahoma, transferred. Okay. To USC. And Penix went to Indiana and transferred to Washington. It's where quarterbacks go to pad their stats and maybe win a Heisman like Bo Nix made. So don't fall for that. I'm telling you, folks, don't fall for playing in that league. You know, if it's between Justin Field and Bagent and those guys, I don't want to start over again. I don't. And if they start winning, I'm hearing people around going, get rid of Getsy. Well, if you get rid of Getsy, you got to get rid of the quarterback too. Because this is going to be his 3rd coaching regime. They're starting to win a little bit. The defense is looking better. Our kicking game is decent. I hear people saying, if they lose, if they keep winning, we're not going to get rid of Eberflus. That's the way it goes. If he proves he can win with this group, he deserves to stay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let him win 3, 4 in a row and get rid of the guy when we're starting to show some uptick. Bear fans got to start thinking, man. You want to start all over? I'll go with Justin Field another year. I want Marvin Harrison. Everybody, all of a sudden now. Been on the barroom. I'm sorry. Been on the barroom for like a month and a half saying Marvin Harrison and Jim Harbaugh. All of a sudden I look at those sometimes and, hey, maybe we should get Marvin Harrison and Jim Harbaugh. We've been here for the last month saying that. My God. And if it doesn't happen, keep Eberflus. Keep them. If they keep winning, if they seem like they're playing hard for the guy. They're not quitting because they know they got the number 1 pick anyway. They're playing for their own employment. Because Poles is up there going, the hell was that? You know, sometimes when things are going wrong. So, as far as I'm concerned, I hope we come back with Fields. And I know people go, well, you don't like Justin Fields. Oh, no. I never said that in my whole life. I loved Mitch. People that didn't like Mitch wanted to go on. I don't hold nothing against them. They're learning the lesson like everybody else. I've learned it over the past, and so is Aldo, 4 decades. The grass is greener on the other side till you get to the other side. And I feel that would happen with Caleb Williams or anybody else. Because most of the quarterbacks from that class of Fields, including Fields, have not produced like they were expected, including Trevor Lawrence. But these guys are not in the Mahomes or Allen or Herbert class yet. They're not franchise quarterbacks, also. That's what I feel right now. I don't know how you feel about it, if we're on the same page with that. But, man, I'm starting for rookie quarterback again. Oh, God help us. And why do Fields fans want somebody else? After I've been hearing you for 3 years, want Justin Fields.
Mm-hmm.
He may be ready to pop if we get something going. I don't know.
Mike, this is a whole conundrum that the Bears are facing right now, because you're absolutely right. If they decide to keep Justin Fields, people are still going to clamor for a new coaching staff because they're so upset with how Fields was taught. Well, you keep Eberflus, but you change the offensive coordinator. What offensive coordinator is going to want to come to Chicago and say, well, wait a minute, this Eberflus guy, he's lost so many games. He's only going to be around for a year. Why should I accept a job as the offensive coordinator for a coach who's a dead coach walking kind of guy? There's no job security. I'll be out with him after a year. So this is a conundrum. To me, the choices that Halas have to do is start over or continue with what you've got. And maybe you get rid of the offensive coordinator, but it's going to be hard to find somebody who is committed to a team with a coach like Eberflus, who's a lame duck almost.
See, I'm going to be honest with folks. I didn't like Wannstedt. I like Eberflus better than I liked Wannstedt. Wannstedt followed Ditka. Okay, that was the beginning of the end for him. He was beloved. Ditka's still beloved.
Right.
So just think what happened the year after they fire him. This poor guy walks in, got the job, and he's a good talker, and he knew I had the goods on him. I always did. I knew it wasn't going to work out. I guess he, and fine, he's in the media now, but he knew it, and I knew it, and that's basically it. It was one of those deals. That being said, I look at Eberflus and I say, I see some things that have improved. The defense is his baby. And I'm saying to myself, okay. And then the special teams ain't bad. The one thing that is not working out is, if you're going to pick one position, is the quarterback position completely. He fumbled twice. You fumble in the National Football League, NFL means not for long. And he's got a ton of them, folks. A ton of them. If you can't hold on to the ball, you better be like a Dave Craig or Warren Moon type that fumbles a lot, but knows how to play the game and throws accurate passes. Maybe get you the next time up a touchdown.
Yeah.
We're not there with him, so he can't be fumbling the ball. But I said he didn't have the clutch gene. Look, you can't have 4 turnovers and no touchdowns. You can't. And that's another problem. And that's on Getsy and Fields.
Right.
They're tied at the hip. I'm not getting rid of one without the other. So if you want to get rid of Getsy, you want to get rid of Fields too. I think they got Justin. I mean, that pass to Mooney that was overthrown that almost killed Mooney in the first half. That's a 20-yarder. Should have been right here.
Right.
He throws it on the run. He's got him right here. Nobody in front of him. Over his head. That's accuracy. That's what he's got to get better at.
Yeah, Justin Fields has played 6 quarters against the Vikings this season and has yet to lead the team to a touchdown. And the Vikings throw these exotic blitzes and so forth. And apparently Luke Getsy doesn't trust Justin Fields against these blitzes because he's got him throwing all these horizontal passes. There was like 12, 13, 14 horizontal passes.
I thought Gary Croton was back.
Remember him?
BYU.
Yes.
I saw more passes sideways than I saw downfield.
That's right.
What are you watching, a tennis game? I go, no, I'm watching sideline passes. Everybody else was going this way, and he goes, and then we get 2 yards and we go, yippee. I mean, come on.
Yep. Yeah, that's
right.
Definitely a problem. Yeah. So let me ask you this: you've been following the Chicago Bears. What year was that when you started following the team? 57?
62, 60, 61. I went to the championship in 63.
Okay.
So I've seen every team.
So you've seen 13 head coaches, starting with George Halas, who was his last stint because he was head coach for a number of times.
I used to deliver his paper.
Are you serious?
Edgewater Beach Apartments, Chicago.
Wow, look at that.
We used to collect him. Once in a while, he'd answer the door, and you're like meeting God.
I hear you.
On. Weird. His front room, you could see it when he opened it. It was weird. There was pictures, like old bear pictures on his wall. Yeah. So
you've lived through 13 Chicago Bears head coaches. 13. Yeah. I just counted them. So out of those 13, do you put Eberflus in the middle, near the top, near the bottom? And just some of the names, of course, going backwards before Eberflus: Nagy, Fox, Trestman, Lovey, Dick Duran, Dave Wannstedt, Ditka, of course, near the top, Neil Armstrong, Jack Pardee, Abe Gibron, Jim Dooley, and then Halas. Where do you slot Eberflus in that list?
I think Eberflus was better than Gibron. I think Eberflus was better than Dooley. I think they both were horrible. I loved Dave Gibron because he was a show on the sidelines. Dooley, I love Dooley. His wife was gorgeous, and his daughter was even more gorgeous. And we used to wait for the players, and then the coaches would come out, and we'd see, you know, the wives come up and stuff. And Bobby Douglas is, I don't know if his sister's still alive. She might have passed away. Knockout. And she waited for Bobby to come out. So we were kids, and we'd wait for all the players. Dooley, we couldn't stand. We didn't like Gibran. I like Eberflus. As a person, I don't have a problem with him. He doesn't seem to panic. But right now, you got to rank him as down towards the bottom, but coming up a little bit. But Dooley and Gibran were bad. I didn't have nothing against John Fox. I thought Trestman was a disaster. Wannstedt, I knew wouldn't have a chance because he followed a legend. Ditka's at the top. Halas is 2 at the time I saw him. He still won a championship, and then the rest, you can mix and match and do whatever you want. I'll tell you a guy who was pretty good that people don't talk about, and they made the playoffs in 77, and Pardee. Jack Pardee was a pretty damn good football coach, man.
He was. It was disappointing when he left.
Yeah, he was a damn good football coach. I think the players liked him. He was a former player, played with the Redskins, part of the Over the Hill gang. I know people wondering who that is. Look it up on Wikipedia. I'm you know, on the stations now, but I love Dick Duran. You know, if Fields is so bad, why does Chase Daniels, Well, you know what? I've never seen. I said this on other shows, and I've said this on the bar. It's a double tier of quarterback justice. We hear about the double tier of justice in this country. Some quarterbacks, whether because they were drafted number 2, are expected, like Trubisky, to be even better than they were. But I remember surprising Eldo. Mahomes was never on the radar. They were 13 and 19, folks, with him at quarterback. Nobody was saying, let's take Mahomes. He came 16th. So there were teams that passed on a sure thing. If he was sure thing, there were other people that would have taken him. He wasn't. But there's a double tier justice. Fields was moved upward just like Mitch. And we're seeing some good things, but we're not seeing the wins, and we're not seeing the completion percentage, the 64 touchdowns, 37 interceptions. Mitch was 11-3 one year. I know, like I told one guy goes, well, they had a good defense. I go, which one of the linebackers threw 64 touchdowns? Which one of the linebackers went 11-3 as a starting quarterback? And which one of the defensive backs threw 6 touchdowns in a game? Well, that's called the Twitter knockout. You look up at the lights, the guy goes, I'm sorry, and he moves on. Bottom line is, most Fields has been getting a free ride, but now I'm seeing some of his buddies who get weak-kneed in the media because they don't have conviction start to teeter a little bit. And if you keep bringing up one play, or he did this, or you keep bringing up stats against other quarterbacks, you're still trying to justify a guy that next year you got to give $23 million to if you pick up his option. Now, $23 million for a starting quarterback isn't bad. They're higher now.
Right.
Prescott makes 40. Danny Dimes makes 40. I think the Bears might pay to 23, but I don't know how much more they have to stay with him. But they got to come figure out, is he worth $23 million? And by the way, everybody laughed off the Montgomery thing when they got rid of him, when they let him walk, and I didn't. And like Carmen, I told Carmen DeFalco this at the beginning of the season, you need a load back. Herbert and these guys, they're not load backs. They can block. And Fields misses Montgomery. That was a mistake by the Bears to let him go because it wasn't about his 4 yards of carry. It was about his blocking the linebacker, and he could handle any linebacker that got through. And they took that away to get some runners that are good but cannot last week to week. Period.
Foster says, I wish Fields could say that Getsy isn't using him wrong. He can't, and Getsy needs to step up. So what Foster's saying there, that he believes that Justin is not being utilized correctly by Luke Getsy. So there is this theory out there, Mike, that he's an athletic quarterback, a running quarterback. He's not a pocket passer, and that he should be used more in the way that we saw against Detroit and Minnesota. Have him run more design runs, about 10 of them a game. Have him throwing outside the pocket. Don't have him inside the pocket. And if you find an offensive coordinator who subscribes to that theory, it would be a better marriage with Justin Fields. What say you?
I agree. But the problem is, and I've heard quarterbacks say this, I've heard coaches say, if you can't throw from the pocket, you are not going to win a championship. Mm-hmm. You're not going to win a championship. Running will get you hurt. Brad Biggs even brought that up.
Yeah.
Running will get you hurt. That being said, I hated the Detroit game because they had the Lamar Jackson package in for 3 quarters. They let them run. And then in the 4th quarter, they just went into their little shell and they got their, they got beat because they went to not lose. And, but he's got to be able to throw from the pocket if you want to make it to the end. Can you win a championship with Fields, who is not yet a franchise quarterback? I don't think you can, in my opinion.
Yeah. Jay Grizz says the morale at Halisaw prior to Warren and Poles and Flus getting here was so effing pitiful, and now we're starting to crawl our way out of that mentality. Do you read that the same way as Grizz does? Because there's been some talk that maybe he is losing the players. Now the defense has really stepped up. But when you lose so many games, you start to look at the leadership. We've been around teams. You and I go. Yeah. We've seen a lot of Chicago sports teams. What do you think?
I think that the fact they like Fields, the players, the other players seem to like him. Cuz, Komet, Moore, they seem to like him. I think the fact that Eberflus is not like some other coaches that would throw somebody under the bus.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I think Fields, by apologizing, I think he should, I'll do better next time. I think it's good he steps up. That's the 2nd time he's done it. You keep apologizing for your play, you're going to be outside looking in. But I like a leader that takes accountability, just like I loved what Campbell did from Detroit on Thanksgiving when he did the fake punt from his own 20. I went, what are you doing? And he said, it was my fault. It was my fault. I take it. I should have never put those guys in that position. So he's still Fields. If Fields has a couple good games, if Fields plays better, but right now he's too inconsistent, doesn't see the whole field, and we should have scored 28 points in that game at least, or 24. I'm not being hard on anybody saying that. We've had 8 turnovers in the last 2 games and scored 2 touchdowns. That's not going to win you anything. The defense gives you the ball in the short field, Al, and then you got to try to get it in, and you're not getting it in.
Yeah. Ebony Sales says Getsy can't be creative because Justin Fields is garbage. Now that's strong, to say Fields is garbage. A lot of people would say he's not a good quarterback, but garbage. I mean, you're throwing him down there with the worst quarterbacks.
You're going to hurt Aldo's feelings. Listen,
darn it.
I've been there. Listen, I've battled for everybody, including Justin Fields. I wanted Watson. I battled, ended up. People ask me if I'm Trubisky's brother because I fight for him like I'm family, and Trubisky doesn't even know I'm alive properly. So I've battled for every quarterback that the Bears have ever had, from Moses Marino to Steve Wash to Shane Matthews to Justin Fields to Jim McMahon because of injuries and he doesn't know how to slide. I remember every argument. He's not smart enough to slide. Wait, the guy broke 72 college football records. Don't tell me he's not smart enough to slide. He was a competitor. And Fields, I put with the other guys. I don't put him with the Harbaughs. I don't put him with the McMahons, and I'm not putting him with Mitch. Not till he shows me he can have a year like Mitch had in 2018 and 2020 when Mitch came back and won 4 out of 5 and almost got us into playoffs. So I got to put him at the lower end, but the win, like I've said to Aldo, and I'm not a hypocrite. As long as we win, I think everybody could have done more. And I think Getsy is throwing those sideline screens because he doesn't trust him going downfield, pure and simple. And that's a problem. I've never seen a guy throw 3 sideline. Even Quilton and Trustman did not throw 3 sideline screens in a row.
Well, Ebony agrees with you. He says,
Ebony and Ivory live together in perfect. What a beautiful song.
It is a great song. Ebony just says that Fields hasn't outperformed Mitch as the Bears starter. This guy thinks a lot the same way that you do. Ninja goes on to.
I apologize.
Yeah, stop getting these people in here. Ninja says, I feel sorry for Eberflus and Fields. Fields was with Nagy, second year, a new offense to learn, all defensive stars shipped out.
He's in his 4th year, man. Come on.
This is his third. This is his 3rd year.
Are you
Fields.
sure?
Yeah,
he's picking up his option next year, I heard.
You pick up. He's under contract next year, but the 5th year option, which is for 2025, you have to pick up in 2024.
I think he'll be back. That's me. What do you think?
I think that based on that photograph of the hug that Ryan Poles gave Justin Fields after the game, I think these guys are dating.
Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, I got a hug like that from a girl back in '73 around Christmas. I got her a gift and I never saw her again. So, that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything in week 12. Let's see the hug at the end of the year.
That's a very good point.
You know what? It was a good sign. You're right.
You just reminded me of someone.
I had a girl tell me she was with me for life. I go, thank you, honey. I turned around, took my drink. I couldn't find her. The door was swinging open.
That's right. She and the drink you bought her were gone.
And I met my beautiful wife. God bless her.
Indeed.
Oh, God.
All right.
We don't deserve them. Okay.
We've got a non-Bears question here that I want you to entertain. Taurine says, what's your opinion on the Bulls' $215 million Supermax? Zach had 2 points last night.
I was on this show and ESPN 1000. A lot of the calls I've made have been on this barroom show, whatever name it was called. Now, it's called the Mike North Presser. But Aldo's heard a lot of my predictions, and most of them have come true. From the Sox rebuild not working to McCann being let go, picking up the catcher that couldn't catch for the White Sox, Grandel, to the quarterback. Field we shouldn't get rid of him. He's been there for most of them. Here's what I'm going to tell everybody. The day after, or maybe 2 days after, and Aldo doesn't have to pull the tape because he heard it. That's what's good about having outlets like ESPN 1000. I'm very fortunate to be on terrestrial radio going into my 32nd year. Thank God. Where a lot of guys are gone now. But this platform here, a lot of my predictions have been here. My deal is the day, I think 2 days after Zach LaVine signed, Aldo and I were on the air. The Bulls were 55-1, and I told Aldo this, to win the championship before LaVine signed. So in other words, if he leaves,
right,
they're 55-1, man. He signed the extension for big money. You know what they were after he signed? 55-1. The needle didn't move to 54. The needle didn't move to 53. AK, or whatever this guy's name is, makes me want Pax back.
Yeah.
It's been an utter disaster. As soon as he gave LaVine that extension, biggest mistake a general manager could make. You ask yourself, will he make us better? And you had such a big sample, and it didn't happen.
Yeah. You think that they're going to move Zach? Camel Toe says the Lakers are going to trade for Zach.
You know what? It's not going to happen here. And, they could have had more, but he's getting some bad pub. He's doing some weird things. He's scoring 2 points. He's down on his luck. DeRozan is crowing now that I want to win. Now, he wasn't saying it's my fault. He was saying, I'm getting tired of this. Like, let's go. Who was it doing? And Donovan, an unmitigated disaster. Such high hopes for a guy. And it seems like they've tuned him out, period.
Yeah, it does. It really does. It's troubling. Ninja gets us back on the Bears beat. He's asking you, who's the best running back on this Bears? Is it Deontay Foreman? Is it Khalil Herbert? Is it Rashawn Johnson? And I'll add to that, would you, if you're not happy with these three running backs, would you love to see them draft or acquire a new running back?
They should have just paid Montgomery. That's another thing I said on this show.
Yes, you did.
I told Carmen DeFalco, my buddy, I got two of the best partners in the business, Aldo and Carmen. I told him, no, at the beginning of the season, and I don't have to go to tape. He goes out, he'll say, I'll remember. I go, Carmen, I don't care if Moore is the running back. I don't care if Herbert's the running back. There's not a running back on this team that's a load back that will carry the ball 25 times. He goes, I think the Bears think they can do by committee. Well, first of all, that means you don't have one guy that's good enough to carry for a considerable amount of time. Sounds like I coached at some highfalutin universities in one championship. So, yeah. Anyway, I won a championship at Potawatomi Park. Does that count for something?
It does. Oh, yeah.
So, all those guys. But then I brought this up. That's fine, camel toe. I knew a guy that had camel toe, by the way. We played basketball together, and he goes, look at my toes one day. I went like this. Like a camel. They arch up, and then they come down. We're in Birthday Park Fieldhouse. We're taking a shower. He goes, hey, horse. That was my nickname. He goes, look at my toes. You ever see my camel toes? And they were like a camel's toes.
Wait a minute. You're in the shower.
I'm in the shower, and I'm looking. I go, hey, Alex, how you doing? He goes, good. You know, we're out taking a shower after the game. He goes, and somebody goes, hey, camel toes. And I go, why do they call you camel toes? And I looked at, and he says, look down. Look at my toes. I went, oh, it's brutal.
I'm impressed by the fact that you're in the shower and someone called you horse. That's very impressive.
Yeah, because if they really wanted to be honest, they would have called me hamster. Hey, you know the Irish. God damn. Oh, they call me horse, the camel toe inspector. That's yeah.
That is hilarious. Yeah. All right.
What we do here, tomfoolery.
That's exactly.
All the boys laughing.
So to just finish your thought on the running back, would you like to see?
All right, here's what I said to Carmen.
Right.
You don't get rid of a guy who's number one, no linebackers getting to Fields. It's enough at the time. The offensive line was really in tatters. Okay. You don't get rid of a guy that can block with him, but there's not another running back on that team that will carry the ball 933 times in 4 years. None.
Yeah.
None. That's 180, 200 carries a year. Period.
And will always be consistently blocking on pass blocking situations.
Absolutely. Look at how good Detroit's doing. And then the guy runs for 120 yards in a game. Yeah. I mean, Detroit's coming down to earth a little bit. But Goff loves having. They went and got that guy. They go, I can't believe the Bears let him go.
Yeah.
Boom. That's the one. We talk about Rokon. We talk about Mitch. That's the one there. He was a solid back. Didn't get hurt much. And could block and run at the same time.
All right. Mike has a special feature. This will be the third episode we're featuring How Dare You? And Mike, why don't you tell people how this works?
Well, here's how it works, folks. And if you have any ideas about somebody or something that happened, and you just go, how dare you? You know, for instance, if you see that Megan Rapinoe is bankrupt or something, you know, how dare you complain after you got on your knee? I mean, you know, things happen when there's consequences. How dare you get on your knee? You could have played and been a hero and everything else. So that's how it works. It's really like jagbag used to be, but I don't want to take away from one of the great words ever invented and in the Urban Dictionary. Now just look it up, folks. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my name's in there.
Yeah. Pretty impressive.
Couldn't get out of second year hike, but I got my own words. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, so I got 3 for today.
Okay.
Number 1, take it from a guy that loved the Bears when he was 7, 8, 9 years old. I wasn't a face paint guy. Okay. So I didn't put the blue on and the orange, and I didn't have the bear head, and I didn't have the, I just had like a jersey, Bear jerseys, the Chicago Bears or whatever, and I watch a game. This kid in Kansas City, this cute little guy, you got his picture, Al?
I can find it.
Oh, this adorable little guy is 5 years old. He loves Kansas City so much, the Chiefs, so much. He is a 5-year-old. This kid is going to be a talk show host someday. Okay. But he's got the headdress on. He's got the Chiefs, got the tight end, number 87. He's got a Chiefs medallion on. His shoes are red. The whole thing's beautiful. He's got his face painted. And one half is black and one half is red. Well, Deadspin takes. You got it? Did you find it, Al?
Yeah, I'm just loading it in now.
Okay, good.
Stand by.
I should have told you about this but I figured everybody's seen it. But then I figured if we can get it there going, I'm going to tell everybody this right now. Deadspin, who already was on another site that went bankrupt, is going to get killed on this. This is a 5-year-old kid. They're saying he's a racist. No, he loves his team. I guarantee you some of his favorite players are black. Look what Deadspin did to this kid.
Yeah.
Okay. Look at that little munchkin. Are you kidding me? The kid's 5. Look at the adoring eyes on the players. I mean, the adults in the room are yelling stuff, and it's minimal. Now, if an adult goes out like this, there might be a problem. I don't know. But to me, what they did by showing the one picture, and now, if you're reading the headlines right now going on, the Chiefs fans are all coming in black and red face at Arrowhead for a game. So he's united. He is the big chief now. To the people that are out there making this a racial issue, how dare you? Eldo loves this.
I do. It's fun.
That was awesome. I love that. All right, this one. I'm sorry. This involves me and Eldo, and it hurts us. About 8 months ago, Eldo and I did somebody big just died on Jimmy Carter. Okay.
Oh my God. 8 months ago.
It was something like that, wasn't it? When we
it was 8 months ago. Exactly. Almost to the day.
He was in hospice.
Yeah.
Now, my Uncle Joe was in hospice for 3 days. My Aunt May was in hospice for 2 days. Rosalind Carter was healthy. I was 30 pounds heavier. And Eldo had more dark hair back then.
A lot more.
Right. It's been 8 months. Who's in hospice for 8 months? Jimmy Carter. And we're going to have to shoot another somebody big just died, but who stays in hospice? And then he outlived his healthy wife.
That's right.
So to Jimmy Carter, with all due respect, you were on your deathbed 8 months ago. You got some unfinished business? How dare you? Can't believe it. They told my uncle, you're in hospice. You should last a week. He was like this, like 12 hours later. He's like, gone. Carter's having a cigarette. Guy? No kidding. Okay. Number 1.
Okay.
Number 1. The Chicago Blackhawks. Oh, my God.
Oh, my goodness.
First of all, I do want to throw in, they haven't found the former defensive coordinator of the Bears yet. He might be in the Everglades for all we know. Whatever happened to that guy? But this is the media in this town asking us to buy what people tell us. And now the Chicago Blackhawks have some guy who I never heard of. I didn't even know he's on the team. I used to know every Hawk. They picked this guy up from Anaheim. Perry's his name or something. I forget.
Corey Perry.
Well, Connor Bedard, they had a Mother's Week. Okay. And the mothers are like in their 40s or 30s, some of them late 30s, and looking great. Period. It's not like the fathers. The fathers come with the Boston Bruins on the plane and they go to a game, and it's different. Apparently, because the rumor was that Perry's biddly bopping Bedard's.
He's what?
Biddly bopping. For the kids out there. Yeah. Biddly bopping Bedard's wife. I mean, excuse me, not wife. Oh, that would even be worse.
That would.
Mother.
Yeah, right.
Number one, okay. They're denying it. The Blackhawks took hours. Eldo knows this. You got to jump on this. They took hours to figure it out and say what they're going to do. They cut the guy. They don't give a reason. He's gone. But he didn't do what people are saying he did, because that's disgusting. You imagine the Blackhawks saying that's disgusting?
Yeah, that organization.
Of all organizations, there's two other things I think of when I think of the Blackhawk organization since 2010. Okay, the other two is the Catholic Church. The other one's Epstein Island, and the third one's the Blackhawks. And now we're supposed to believe the GM, who said anybody who says that's disgusting. And then I said, well, of course he's going to say that. And somebody said to me, well, nobody's there now. That was there then. He was the intern in 2010. He was an intern for the Blackhawks. Look it up. Wow. And in 2023, he's the GM.
Yeah.
Pretty quick. And now everything's fine, right? No. Something happened, and you're being secretive in the media. And then I'm hearing people say, well, they don't have to give more of an explanation. Why was the guy caught? That's an explanation that should be given. So to the Chicago Blackhawks, whose owner and everybody, I mean, it's the same regime. The owner's gone now because the last scandal put him in his grave, probably. How dare you? That's it. Okay, folks. Hope everybody had a good time. Yippee!
Oh, Mike, that was hilarious.
Well, what do you think about that?
Well, it is, it's unfortunate that this rumor started and how it started. I'd love to find that out first. And there's the rumor that, as you said, Corey Perry was,
and they're not giving another reason.
Yeah,
and this guy was like a father figure to Bedard.
Right. That's why he was brought in, to help provide mentoring and tutoring. So it seems a little weird that could have potentially happened. But hey, guys, I'm
going to tell you right now. The lack of explanation is all you need. And we've seen that with the Bears, too. We've seen that with that Bears situation.
Yeah.
Everything from the FBI to the guy had family deaths and everything else. Where is he? He disappeared. Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff the media sits on and doesn't tell you everything. And I'm just here. Yeah, Aldo and I. Yeah, we're here just to straighten things out here in this crazy town of ours.
I will say this, though, Mike, in defense of how the Blackhawks are handling the situation, you want to try to squash it as quickly as possible, because there is a young player, an 18-year-old guy, who these allegations are about his mom, and you have this woman who could be completely innocent. So you just want to squash it and make it go away. And if you start giving explanations and bringing up names and stuff, then it just becomes
doesn't it look worse this way? That they're just not saying too much, and it took them time to come out and see if this is completely untrue, Al. I'm saying it might be.
Sure.
Allegedly, but if it's completely untrue, you and I would have been out there.
Yeah.
Immediately. Yeah. What are you talking about? Now, I'm not saying everybody's got flaws, and I feel bad for Bedard in this whole thing. And his mom, if it's not true.
Right.
But there's not a whole lot of anybody who thinks that way is disgusting. Really? The Chicago Blackhawks are lecturing the fans of this town or media that's called the old, put it on them. Put them back on their heels. Yeah. No, I think it's disgusting what's happened with this team since 2010. That's what I think is disgusting. And for a guy that was an intern at that time as GM to say that, okay, you have problems under your regime now, pal. Period.
Yeah. There's no doubt that this organization has not earned our trust.
No, and they were allowed to self-investigate. Period.
Yeah. I love it when I self-investigate.
Oh,
my wife says, "Hey, what? Hey, did you do this?" I'll investigate that, honey. I'll get back to you.
That's right. We'll get back to you after. Yeah, so that's my how dare you for today. And then you know what? And I hope everything straightens out. But it's a rumor that's not going away apparently.
Yeah, it's going to linger for a long, long time.
That's the problem. See?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So,
yeah. Oh, by the way, I talked to some people. Ohtani is a stronger chance than Bellinger of signing with the Cubs.
Really?
He's strong. Dirt. I've talked to a couple people.
Okay.
Bellinger's got Scott Boras as his
agent,
as his guy. Very tough to deal with. Doesn't mean they're not going to get him. Listen, nobody's got more respect for Cody Bellinger than I do.
I know.
I love what the guy did.
Yeah.
He did like a Richie Allen. He put the team on his back and almost got him there, But Ohtani seems to be the guy that they're angling for. Now, does he like to play? Did he like the West Coast? He was there for 6 years. Does he like Trout? So that's something that they're going to have to decide. But that right now is the plan. Not that they can't get Bellinger, but Boras seems to be a guy that's a bigger, tough nut to crack.
And Ohtani isn't going to pitch in 2024, right? No. Because of the shoulders.
He may never pitch again, in my opinion, but the guy is so good. At Wrigley Field, I mean, I just can see.
Oh, he'd be great, yeah.
He'd be unbelievable. He played 135 games and won MVP, and he had 44 homers. I mean, to me, every year, if he's healthy, and the thing that you got to worry about, this is his second Tommy John. Okay, so you're going to say you're pitching to get that $500 million, $600 million deal.
Right.
When I come back, I'm pitching. But you're on your second Tommy John now. And, now that there's the DH and now that he's a great fielder, he can play right, he can play center for sure. I love Cody, but here's what they don't want with Craig Counsell. Neither not coming. Because if you get neither guy, you lost your leader from last year. And Counsell won't have a guy like Stroman who's going to win 8-9 games in the first half. So it's going to be this Counsell thing. We're going to look at this thing. I'm not sold on Craig Counsell. I don't care what they say. He didn't do anything to catch my eye. I didn't say, oh, God, we got to get it up. So we'll see. We've seen guys come in before that were supposed to get the Tom Tribble one. He turned into a disaster. That was a small market in Milwaukee. He got here, he couldn't even handle it. So we'll see what happens.
It's going to be interesting, and we'll be on top of it here on the Mike North press conference, brought to you by our friends over at Rahl Jewelers.
Rahl Jewelers. My guy Brad, Ryan, all the people there. I'm coming by there. I'm going to say hi.
Yeah, you're bringing money with you to go buy some jewels?
I might, yeah.
Look how sad he got.
Christmas is coming.
That's right.
Hey, look, we used to do the head box. Like if Jesse would say, if we were supposed to get Joe Montana on, and Joe Montana canceled, if Jesse got 3 head bobs, it was a disaster. Like we go, hey, Joe Montana canceled. 3 head bobs.
That's awesome.
So hey, the checks are late. 5 head bobs.
That's right.
Hey, I hope everybody had a good time. Eldo,
thank you very much for the laughs. I really needed them. I need them every day, and you deliver every time we're together. So
remember that? I don't know how to play this game. What is that thing?
Yeah, I've never played that in my entire life. I don't know what the rules are.
No. I go, my Italian uncles did that. Really? I go, this is your exercise. Come on. Why am I speaking No language.
I don't know. It's like pig Italian or something like that.
Take Italian.
All right. For Mike North and Rahl Jewelers, my name is Aldo Gante. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.